The best revenge is not to be like your enemy. Marcus Aurelius. Here's the truth, my friends. You don't win this by louder words, longer texts, or late-night speeches. You win by quiet strength, by clean exits, by refusing to be dragged back into the same storm that soaked you yesterday. The hook is simple. Walk away well, and regret does the talking for you. Hey folks, imagine this. You're a lighthouse on a jagged coast. Ships come and go. Some respect your light, some take it for granted. One night, a ship mocks your beam and sails off. Do you chase it through the storm? Number, you keep shining. The ocean can rage, the wind can scream, but the lighthouse stands. That is you. Your job is not to chase anyone. Your job is to shine so clearly that those who can't respect it simply crash into their own choices. Let me give you another picture. Think of your attention like clean, cold water in a desert. When you pour it out for anyone who demands it, they stop valuing it. But the moment you guard it, the moment you give it only to what matters, people wake up. Scarcity creates value. Your calm creates demand. Your boundaries create respect. We've been told a lie. If they don't see your worth, explain harder. Number, that's the trap. Clinging does not create closeness. It creates cheaper prices. We've also been told, silence is rude. No again. Silence is a boundary in a world addicted to noise. Marcus said, you always own the option of having no opinion. That means you can choose peace over proving, dignity over drama, posture over panic. And yes, a little fun truth. If they only liked you when you danced on eggshells, they never liked you. They liked the eggs. My friends, I'm not asking you to become cold. I'm asking you to clarify. There is a difference. Cold shuts the world out. Clear chooses what gets in. Cold is fear. Clear is power. When you step back, you do not declare war. You declare standards. Epictetus reminds us, it is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows. While you were always there was nothing to learn. When you step away, the lesson starts. Picture a bow and arrow. Pulling back looks like retreat, but it's how you gain force. Your pause is not a weakness. Your quiet is not surrender. Your distance is not pettiness. It's preparation. It's you pulling back to aim your life at a higher target. Health, craft, purpose, faith, better people, better rooms, better habits. And yes, we'll sprinkle a bit of humor in the truth. If they only text when your glow-up photo hits, that's not fate, it's Wi-Fi. Seneca said, he who is brave is free. Bravery here is simple. Stop negotiating your worth. Stop making your peace a group project. Stop running after those who walk away from their own character. Your absence will be a mirror. Your progress will be the message. Your calm will be the rumor they can't kill. Stay with me, because this journey is not about hurting anyone. It's about healing you so fully that hurt has nowhere to live. We're going to walk through silence, detachment, boundaries, and real self-respect. We'll use clean psychology and solid Stoic tools. We'll keep it honest, we'll keep it strong, and we'll keep it human. Type this in the comments to lock it in. I choose my peace. Smash the like button, hit subscribe, and stay with me. Your next chapter starts right now. Number 1. The power of walking away. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can say is nothing at all. Here's the hard truth, my friends. They don't learn your value while you are busy proving it. They learn it when you stop performing for it. That's the sting they never see coming, the quiet exit, the closed door, the message that doesn't need emojis or explanations. You don't slam the door, you simply stop holding it open, and in that silence, the lesson begins. Picture this. You're a vault in a noisy marketplace. For a long time, you've left the door slightly ajar, constant access, constant reassurance, constant proof that you care. People wander in, touch the gold, and stroll out as if it were a tourist attraction. Then one day, you spin the wheel and seal the steel. No drama, no announcement, just the click of a boundary. Suddenly, the same people who treated your time like spare change are standing outside, pressing their ear to the door, realizing access was the value all along. They didn't respect the treasure because the door was always open. The closure teaches what the open door never could. They will ask themselves 1,000 questions when you walk away well. Why did the messages stop? Why does he look so calm? Who has his attention now? Did we matter, or were we simply loud in his life? And beneath those questions sits the bigger fear. What if the peace he found without us proves he never needed us? That fear isn't your weapon, it's their mirror. You didn't force it, you allowed it. Let's dismantle a few lies they sell you when you're vulnerable. Lie 1. If you fight hard enough, you'll win them back. If you fight for a person who refuses to fight for you, you're not winning love, you're losing self-respect. Lie 2. Walking away is petty. No, again, walking away is a spiritual audit. What adds, what drains, what aligns, what deceives. Lie 3. If you really cared, you'd keep trying. The truth? If you really care about your life, you stop trying to fix what keeps breaking you. Still, I get it. Leaving is hard. Why? Because your brain is addicted to patterns, not people. The nervous system loves the familiar, even when the familiar hurts. It whispers, maybe this time they'll change, because the known, even the painful known, feels safer than the unknown. That's why you replay old messages at 2 a.m. Why you justify red flags as stress. Why you bargain with your boundaries as if they were coupons. It's not weakness, it's wiring, but wiring can be rewired. Discipline is how you teach your nervous system a new religion, peace. Think of a bow and arrow. Pulling back looks like retreat. It's not. It's stored energy, focused direction. When you step back from the situation that keeps bleeding you, you're not running, you're aiming. You redirect your force into better habits, higher standards, and cleaner rooms. You invest in your body until your mirror is your ally. You invest in your craft until your time has gravity. You invest in your faith until your storms report to a higher authority. That's not pettiness, that's precision. Marcus Aurelius gave you the script. You always own the option of having no opinion. Translation, you don't owe them a reaction. You don't owe them an essay. You don't owe them the theater of your pain. You owe yourself the dignity of silence that protects your peace. And Epictetus lines up behind him. It is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows. As long as they believed you'd be there no matter what, there was nothing to learn. When you stop attending the performance, the play falls apart. Maybe right now you're asking, what if they think I don't care? My friends, caring doesn't mean carrying. Caring means clarity, choosing what grows you and refusing what shrinks you. What if they replace me? People can replace convenience, they cannot replace character. You are not a pastime, you're a path. And paths don't beg shoes to walk them. Hikers earn the miles. What if I regret leaving? You will regret leaving your peace far more than leaving their chaos. One costs you your life, the other returns it. Let me drop another metaphor in your pocket. Imagine your attention as premium fuel, rare, refined, expensive. For months you've been pouring it into engines that leak. You keep buying them time they never use to grow. When you walk away, you're not being cruel, you're being a good steward. You fuel machines that move with you, not ones that park across your boundaries and honk for service. Dark psychology gives language to why walking away works. Loss aversion. People feel the pain of losing access more than the pleasure of gaining it. Intermittent reinforcement. If you keep showing up after they mistreat you, you train them to expect your return. Pattern break. When you end the cycle, you force a new story. Suddenly, they aren't debating your worth with you, they're debating it with themselves. You're not on the negotiation table, You're off the market. But won't silence look like weakness? Number. Silence is a weightlifter. It builds muscle while the crowd talks. Noise is cardio, plenty of sweat, no mass. Your silence is not empty, it is full of intention. It's you returning every borrowed piece of yourself and signing your name across your life again. It's you deciding that approval is too cheap a currency to buy your peace. Seneca said, "He who is brave is free." Bravery here is the courage to be misunderstood for a season so you can be unbothered for a lifetime. People who benefited from your availability will call your boundaries arrogance. Let them. People who thrive on your reactions will call your calm coldness. Let them. People who only respect you when you bend will call your spine stubbornness. Let them. The names they choose reveal the comfort they lose. Now, why do they think like this? Because control feels like love to those who never learned it isn't. When access equals superiority in their mind, your withdrawal feels like disrespect. You're not disrespecting them, you're respecting yourself. And self-respect is the single most attractive scent in any room. It signals to every observer, including future partners and future opportunities, that your standard isn't up for auction. So here's the move. Close the door gently, not with rage, with resolve. You don't block to provoke, you block to breathe. You don't ignore to torture, you ignore to heal. You don't vanish to make them chase, you vanish to make yourself whole. If they return one day, it will be to a different entrance. Effort, consistency, humility, alignment. No fast passes, no backstage bracelets. Access is earned, not assumed. And if they don't return, you didn't lose a destiny, you lost a detour. You didn't forfeit a future, you ended a loop. Your life expands where your energy is honored. Your circle upgrades when your standards stop negotiating. Your mornings become lighter when your nights no longer host arguments with ghosts. That's not loneliness, that's oxygen. We'll go deeper into silence next. How it teaches without speaking, and why the mind fears the void you leave when you stop feeding it reactions. But before we turn that corner, lock this in. Walking away is not the end of your story. It is the edit that saves it. The moment you stop auditioning for the role of Prova is the moment you become the author again. Type this in the comments so you own it. I walk away well. Show them, show yourself, show the world around you what standards look like in motion. Stay with me. Next, we'll make silence do the teaching you used to tire yourself doing with words. Number 2, silence that teaches without speaking. Silence is a source of great strength. Here's the part most people never understand, my friends. Silence isn't the absence of a message. It is the message. It doesn't plead, it doesn't chase, it doesn't argue. It just places a mirror in the room and lets reality talk. Folks, imagine a snow globe. Shake it up. Confetti swirls, colors blur, you can't see anything clearly. That's what constant texts, arguments, and explanations do. But when you set the globe down and let it be still, the flakes fall, the scene appears, and truth settles where it belongs. Silence is you setting the globe down. It's you letting clarity reappear, first for you, then for them. Think of another picture, an echo canyon at night. When you shout into it, your own noise comes back to you, distorted. But when you go quiet, you start to hear what's actually there. The wind brushing stone, the faint river far below, the life you were drowning out with your own voice. Silence isn't punishment, it's perception. It's how you stop hearing your fear louder than your future. And yes, there's a little humor in this truth. If your phone battery drains faster than your self-respect, your volume knob might be the real enemy. They will feel your silence like gravity. The mind hates unanswered questions. It starts writing its own conclusion. Why isn't he reacting? Did we misread his value? Who has his attention now? What changed? And the fiercest question of all, if he can be this calm without us, did we ever have the control we imagined? That spiral doesn't need your help. You're not stoking it. You're stepping back from it. You are no longer a participant in the performance. Marcus Aurelius gave you permission long ago. You always own the option of having no opinion. You can decide right now that not every alarm gets your attention and not every invitation gets your attendance. Let's break a few lies. Lie 1. Silence is manipulative. Number. Manipulation tries to shape the other person. Silence shapes you. It's boundary, not theater. Lie 2. Silence is rude. No again. Rudeness is contempt. Silence is restraint. It says, my peace has rules. Lie 3. If you loved us, you'd talk it out. True love includes timeouts. Healthy teams use the clock. You're not punishing, you're protecting the game from fouls. Epictetus was blunt. We suffer more often in imagination than in reality. Silence starves the imagination that keeps inventing new ways to hurt you. Why is it so hard? Because your nervous system equates silence with danger. When a conversation stops, the old brain thinks the tribe is abandoning you. It pushes you to send one more message to prove you still belong. But belonging that demands your self-betrayal isn't belonging. It's a tax you can't afford. You retrain the nervous system by surviving the quiet on purpose. 1 hour, 1 evening, 1 weekend at a time. At first it will ache, then it will breathe, then it will build. Your silence becomes a gym where your reactions stop lifting you and your standards start lifting more. Folks, picture a chess clock. When you speak, your time runs. When you stop, their time tick-tick-ticks. In constant debate, you spend your life defending your value on your clock. In silence, you hand the clock back. Their choices must move without your explanations shielding them from consequences. That's not cruelty, that's fairness. Seneca said, "He who is brave is free." Bravery here is letting their choices stand alone without your words propping them up like splints on a broken story. Dark psychology gives this a map. The brain craves feedback loops. Every jab wants a counter. Every tease wants a chase. Every withdrawal wants a rescue. When no loop returns, uncertainty spikes. Uncertainty takes the stage, and uncertainty is louder than your longest paragraph. People often valued your reactions, not your reality. Silence pulls the IV drip. Now they must manufacture meaning without your supply. If the meaning hurts, that is the tuition of their own lessons, not the target of your revenge. You may ask, what if they think I don't care? My friends, care without boundary becomes currency in someone else's economy. You're not withdrawing humanity, you're withdrawing subsidies. What if silence makes them walk away? If silence exposes that the only thing keeping them was your constant noise, better to learn it now than mortgage another year to the myth. What if I break first? Then you try again. Recovery isn't a straight line, it's a staircase. Missing one step doesn't send the building falling, it just means you take the next rise with more focus. Let me hand you a final metaphor. Imagine your life as a theater. For a long time you kept the doors open, the lights hot, the stage set, 24/7. People wandered in at any hour, left their trash, booed mid-scene, demanded improvisations. Silence is the night crew, curtains down, the house lights off, stage cleared. The show resumes tomorrow on your schedule, with your script and only ticketed seats. You're not cancelling the play, you're restoring its dignity. Here is the quiet victory. Silence recalibrates the room. Your voice returns warmer because it isn't bleeding. Your boundaries return steadier because they aren't wobbling. And if they return one day, it won't be because you begged. It will be because silence did the teaching that words never could. Access, if it comes, will arrive through a new door marked consistency, respect, effort, alignment. They will call your calm cold. Let them. Cold is absence of heat. Calm is presence of mastery. Mastery doesn't need a megaphone. It needs a mirror and a plan. Keep both. Type this to lock it in and show the world around you what discipline looks like. My silence is strength. Drop it in the comments. Then stay with me. Next, we enter the engine of value itself. Detachment, how scarcity turns your attention into something they can no longer take for granted. Number 3, detachment creates value. Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. Epictetus. Here's the pivot most people never make, my friends. They think value is built by giving more, talking more, trying more, but value is built by needing less. Detachment isn't coldness, it's clarity. It's you deciding that your peace isn't for rent and your attention isn't a public utility. When your wants shrink, your worth expands. The fewer levers others can pull in you, the rarer you become, and rarity is always respected in the market of human attention. Picture this: you are a rare instrument in a noisy pawn shop. For months, you've let anyone pluck your strings, free demos, free songs, free access. Over time, they hear your sound and confuse it with background music. Then one day, you return to the velvet case, close the lid, and post a simple sign: by appointment only. The music doesn't stop. The audience changes. Detachment is that sign. It doesn't punish them. It protects you. It tells the room, this tone is not for casual hands. Let's break a few lies they've been sold. Lie 1, if you stop caring, you'll lose them. Truth, you're not stopping care, you're stopping overcare. Overcare is a discount sticker on your soul. Lie 2, detachment means you're heartless. Number, detachment means your heart has a filter. Love without standards is a leaky bucket. It floods the floor and waters nothing. Lie 3, if you don't chase, they'll forget you. People forget what's everywhere. They remember what's rare. Why is detachment so hard? Because your nervous system has mistaken intensity for intimacy. The chaos felt electric, so your mind called it connection. It wasn't. It was a feedback loop of adrenaline and hope. Detachment breaks that loop. At first, you'll itch to send the clarifying message, to negotiate the boundary, to re-explain the obvious. Don't. The urge is withdrawal, not wisdom. Breathe, go quiet. Put your hands where your life is. Workouts, work, prayer, study, craft. Let your body feel a new rhythm that isn't dictated by their notifications. Metaphor time, folks. Imagine your attention as premium tickets to a championship game, limited seats, unforgettable view. For a long time, you've been at the stadium entrance, handing them out like flyers. Of course, the crowd pushed and shouted. You trained them to see your best seats as free. Detachment installs turnstiles and ushers. Same arena, different rules. It's not cruelty, it's curation. You don't hate the crowd. You honor the court. Dark psychology labels what happens next. Scarcity effect. When access is rare, desire rises. Reactance. When people feel they can't control you, they want to try. Some will step up, some will step out. Contrast effect. Once they compare your calm standards to the chaos of casual connections, your steadiness shines. You didn't pitch yourself. Reality did the ad read. And loss aversion, losing an always available you, stings more than gaining a new distraction soothes. Detachment turns their comfort into questions, and questions turn into regret without you saying a word. But what if detachment makes me look arrogant, my friends ask. Detachment is not a pose, it's a posture. A pose performs superiority. A posture practices sovereignty. You're not above anyone. You're just aligned with yourself. You drink water, you lift iron, you read old books, you call your mother, you delete the chat, you lock in your sleep, you do your work, you pray your prayers. Superiority is loud. Sovereignty is quiet. The room knows the difference. But what if they think I don't care? Care is not measured by your willingness to abandon yourself. Care is measured by your willingness to sustain what is good. You can care and still choose absence when presence keeps wounding you. Marcus Aurelius gave you permission. If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. If contact isn't right for your mind, don't do it. If explaining the same boundary for the 5th time isn't true to your dignity, don't say it. Caring for your future is caring for everyone who will meet you there. Another picture. You are a lighthouse and a harbor, not a tugboat. The tugboat chases drifting ships, exhausting itself in other people's storms. The lighthouse holds position and tells the truth in all weather. Detachment is you retiring the tugboat and returning to the tower. Your light doesn't move, your standard doesn't wobble, your schedule isn't negotiated by sudden waves. Ships that want safety steer toward you. Ships that want drama dash themselves on the rocks of their own decisions. That's not your cruelty, that's their curriculum. Detachment also cleans your inner language. You stop saying, I hope they choose me, and you start saying, I choose me, and whoever chooses that version of me. You stop saying, what do they want, and start asking, what does my mission require? You stop measuring your day by their mood and start measuring it by your momentum. Epictetus again. No man is free who is not master of himself. Detachment is self-mastery in practice. Your time, your focus, your emotions returning to your jurisdiction. Expect pushback. Those who thrived on your immediate availability will call your new peace an attitude. Those who coasted on your explanations will call your new silence immature. Those who feasted on your constant softness will call your new spine toxic. Let them. Labels are how people try to repossess the access they lost. Do not finance their comfort with your future. Pay cash for your peace and keep the receipt. So what does detachment look like on a Tuesday? You pause before replying. You answer only what is asked, and only when it aligns. You decline the coffee for closure that is really a reopening of wounds. You stop writing essays to people who skim your paragraphs. You let outcomes be the measurement, not promises. You invest your oxytocin in worthy places, training, craft, service, prayer, family, honest friends. You keep your word to yourself, especially the small ones. Small, kept promises build big, quiet power. Here's the fun truth tucked into all this. When you stop chasing, you get your humor back. Your laugh returns because your lungs are yours again. Food tastes better because you're not seasoning it with anxiety. Music hits deeper because you're not projecting an old story onto every lyric. Detachment is not the death of feeling, it's the end of bleeding. They will notice. Maybe not today, maybe not loudly, but they will. The tone of your responses changes. The schedule of your availability changes. The shine in your eyes changes. That's the kind of advertisement you can't fake and can't hide. If they return, they come to a different entrance. Consistency, respect, mutual effort, slow proof. If they don't, you keep ascending with lighter luggage and heavier character. Type this to lock it in and show the world around you what value looks like in motion. My detachment is power. Stay with me. Next, we turn absence into a mirror, where consequences teach the lessons your words no longer will. Number 4. Absence as a mirror. Accountability. It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. Seneca. Here's the shift, my friends. Your absence is not a punishment. It is a mirror. When you step back, you don't throw stones. You remove the noise. And when the noise drops, truth finally has a microphone. Folks, imagine a messy room with loud music blaring. As long as the bass is thumping, no one notices the broken glass on the floor. Turn the music off and suddenly everyone looks down. That's what your absence does. It turns down the chaos so the consequences can be seen. You aren't trying to hurt them, you're refusing to hide the shards. Picture another scene. You're a museum curator who's been allowing fingerprints on priceless art. People comment, argue, and justify, and the painting gets duller. Then, one day, you rope the area off. No lecture, no drama, just a velvet rope and a silent sign. Do not touch. In minutes, the colors look brighter because greasy hands aren't smearing the surface anymore. Your absence is that velvet rope. It doesn't accuse, it protects the art, your life, your peace, your dignity. They will ask themselves questions in the quiet. Why did access end? Were we careless with something rare? Did we confuse constant availability with low value? Who has earned his presence now, and why? And beneath those questions sits a deeper fear. If he is this calm without us, were we ever the source of his stability or just the source of his storms? You don't feed that spiral, you simply stop interrupting it. Marcus Aurelius hands you the rule: waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one, your absence is you being the man, without the debate club. Let's break a few lies while the room is finally quiet. Lie 1, if you cared, you'd stay and fix it. No, if they cared, they wouldn't keep breaking it. Your presence shouldn't be the glue for their bad habits. Lie 2, walking away avoids responsibility. No, again, you're taking responsibility for your life. Their responsibility is facing what they kept dismissing when you stood there patching holes. Lie 3, distance is petty. Petty pokes and performs. Distance doesn't perform, it preserves. It's the clean boundary that lets reality grade the test. Why is this so hard? Because your nervous system links leaving with guilt. You've been the fixer, the explainer, the buffer. Stepping back feels like betrayal, even when staying harms you. That confusion is the echo of old conditioning. Love equals constant access. Forgiveness equals zero consequences. But love without clarity is chaos, and forgiveness without change is permission. You are not abandoning anyone. You're abandoning the illusion that proximity will turn into respect just because you wish it would. Dark psychology offers the map for what happens next. Cognitive dissonance. When their story about themselves, "we treat people well," hits the reality of how they treated you, discomfort rises. In the past, your explanations softened that discomfort. Now the mirror is clean. Self-attribution kicks in. They must own that their choices created this outcome. Sunk cost fallacy flips. Instead of you investing more to justify the past, they must confront that the past investment doesn't guarantee future access. And the contrast effect returns. Life after you exposes what life with you actually provided: stability, loyalty, presence. Regret grows in that gap, not because you pressed a button, but because gravity finally worked. Folks, think of a courtroom. When you kept returning to argue your value, you stood at the defendant's table pleading your case. Absence moves you to the judge's chambers. You're not on trial anymore. The evidence stands where it stands. If their actions were solid, the verdict will be grace and growth. If not, the verdict will be distance and lesson. Either way, you're not performing for a jury that once booed the facts. You may worry, what if they paint me as cold? Let them. Cold is lack of warmth. What you're practicing is precision. Precision is the thermostat of respect. It says, this room has a temperature where honesty and honor can live. Anything below that is a coat you'll have to wear outside. You may fear, what if I'm wrong? Good, healthy fear sharpens your standard. You review the tape. Was I clear? Did I repeat myself? Did I set timelines? Did I enforce consequences calmly? If yes, your absence isn't cruelty, it's clarity enforced. Marcus again. If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. Your new rule becomes, if it isn't right for my peace, I don't do it. If it isn't true to my standard, I don't say it. Silence becomes honest. Distance becomes truthful. You no longer subsidize confusion with your presence. Here's a softer metaphor with a hard edge. You are a garden. For a long time, you allowed every footstep, every stray dog, every late-night crowd to run across your soil. Seeds struggled, flowers snapped, pathways vanished. Absence is the gate you finally close. The gate isn't anger, it's agriculture. You are choosing harvest over havoc. And something beautiful happens when the gate shuts. The garden starts telling the truth again. Blossoms reclaim their color, paths reappear, the air changes. Anyone who sees it understands. This wasn't about exclusion, it was about cultivation. What does absence teach them? It teaches that access was a privilege, not a birthright. That consistency beats charisma. That attention has a cost, and the currency is respect. It teaches them that the price of admission to your life is behavior, not speeches. And it teaches you something too. You don't need their permission to heal. You don't need their applause to grow. You only needed the silence to hear your own standard again. Will everyone learn? Number. Some will double down on pride. Some will send bait texts. Some will blame you for the mirror. That's fine. The mirror is fair, not flattering. Those who can face it, improve. Those who can't, invent stories. Your job is not to edit their reflection. Your job is to keep the mirror clean. And if they return one day, they won't be meeting the version of you that tolerated confusion. They'll meet the curator with the velvet rope, the gardener with the gate, the judge who reads behavior, not scripts. The door isn't sealed, but it's measured. Entrance looks like effort, humility, and time. Type this to lock it in and show the world around you what real accountability looks like. Absence reveals truth. Drop it in the comments. Stay with me. Next, we step into the engine that powers regret itself, comparison, how real life after you became the teacher your words could never be. Number 5. Comparison creates regret. Contrast effect. Everything is judged by reference to something else. Here's the engine that hums in the background, my friends. Regret is rarely born in the moment of losing you. It's born the first time life after you is measured against life with you. That's a comparison. Not the shallow social kind, but the quiet, involuntary audit the brain runs when the thrill fades and reality sends the bill. Folks, picture a dim room with 2 lamps. One is on, one is off. You don't notice the quality of light until you flip the second switch. Suddenly you see how warm one is, how harsh the other is. That's what happens after your exit. Their new experiences turn on the second lamp. The room tells the truth. Imagine another scene. A runner swaps out well-fitted shoes for a flashy pair that looks great in photos but blisters the heel at mile 3. For the first half mile, the pace feels exciting. Then the friction shows up. That sting is a comparison, the body remembering the fit that didn't hurt. Memory doesn't argue. It measures. It pulls up the tape. Loyalty versus games, steadiness versus chaos, presence versus performative attention. It reruns the miles and grades the blisters. The mind is a natural contrast machine. Psychologists call it the contrast effect. New options are weighed against the last reference point. When your standard was steady, anything less now feels like sand under the tooth. That's why they start asking themselves questions they never asked when you were around. Why does this new fun feel empty on Tuesday? Why do plans wobble where he's always held? Why does this attention vanish when I don't entertain? Why did his calm feel like oxygen and this noise feel like smoke? They can't know the baseline you set. You didn't preach it, you lived it. Let's break some lies that try to outrun this law. Lie 1. Different is always better. No, different is only better when it's deeper. Novelty can't compete with nourishment. Lie 2. You were too predictable. Translation: you were reliable. The thrill of unpredictability photographs well. The grief of unreliability lives long. Lie 3. You were replaceable. People can imitate the outline, they can't duplicate the density. Characters aren't copied by costume changes. Why does comparison hit hardest in the quiet? Because fireworks look beautiful against a dark sky, but everyone goes home when the ashes fall. In the quiet, routine returns. Meals, money, mornings, moods. That's where the measuring begins, where your consistency becomes a ruler they can't stop using. Marcus Aurelius gave you the clue. If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. Consistency is the practice of right and true over time. When they sample charisma without consistency, the palate learns the difference. Folks, think of a restaurant with a long line because it's actually good, not because a camera was nearby. The food exits the kitchen the same way on Monday as Saturday. Now compare that to a pop-up with neon signs and cold fries. The first Instagram post wins. The third visit tells the truth. Relationships are restaurants. You were the place that served hot plates without a light show. They left for neon. Comparison is the third visit. Dark psychology gives us the rest of the map. Hedonic adaptation, the rush of new drops quickly. The baseline demands substance. Intermittent reinforcement. If attention arrives in spikes and disappears, the brain gets hooked on gambling, not bonding. Then contrast arrives. It stacks your steadiness beside their spikes and says, choose. Loss aversion joins the party. Losing a steady hand stings longer than gaining a dazzling distraction soothes. The ledger closes with regret. You might worry, what if their new life actually is better? Then your standard served its purpose. You became the reference point that taught them what better must actually mean. There's honor in that. But more often, comparison reveals what your presence provided that words never sold. Peace that didn't ask for applause, help that didn't invoice, laughter that didn't demand dramatics. These don't trend in a feed, they trend in the nervous system. Calm is addictive once tasted. Here's a softer metaphor with a steel spine. You are a well. For a long time they drew water whenever thirsty, clean, cool, consistent. Then a sparkling truck rolled through town promising flavors and fizz. Everyone crowded the tap. At first it was fun, then dehydration set in, the kind that doesn't announce itself until the headache arrives. Comparison is that headache. It doesn't accuse the truck, it reminds the tongue what actual water feels like. You didn't shame anyone, you simply went back to being a well with a rope and a rule. Draw respectfully, refill what you spill, don't muddy what you don't intend to drink. And there's humor tucked into this. Novelty wears cologne. Integrity wears no scent. Guess which one lingers when the party ends. The room knows. The mirror knows. Eventually, the heart knows. That knowledge isn't loud. It's heavy. It sits on a Sunday evening and whispers, "We traded steady for shiny." That's not your cue to rescue. That's the mirror doing its quiet job. So what do you do while comparison teaches without your commentary? You live. You stack small wins. You lift what you said you'd lift. You keep your word to your morning. You read pages. You eat meals that love you back. You let your calendar reveal your values. You become, as Epictetus would say, a person with few wants and strong will. When your wants shrink, your life stops being hostage to other people's performances. And here's the bonus. The stronger your baseline becomes, the sharper the contrast gets, for you too. You stop mistaking drama for depth. You stop negotiating with hunger that refuses to cook. Will everyone learn from comparison? Number. Some will double down on denial. Some will call your steadiness boring to dodge the truth that they can't match it. That's fine. Your life is not a rebuttal essay, it's a record. Keep yours clean. If life brings them back to your door one day, they won't meet the man who tried to convince them of his value. They'll meet the man whose value is obvious because it's practiced. The entrance is different now. Consistency, humility, aligned effort, time. No VIP passes, no "we had history" coupons, only behavior. Type this to lock it in and show the world around you what real standards create. Contrast reveals worth. Drop it in the comments. Stay with me. Next, we step into the two words that haunt every heart when access is gone. What if? Number 6. The what-if spiral. No contact, no closure. We are more often frightened than hurt, and we suffer more in imagination than in reality. Seneca. Here's the part almost nobody prepares for, my friends. When you stop feeding the story doesn't end. It turns inward. That's the what-if spiral. It starts quietly, then grows teeth. What if I hadn't said that? What if I'd tried one more time? What if this was the only person who could ever understand me? The mind hates unanswered questions, so it keeps inventing answers, usually the kind that hurts. But listen closely. Your what-ifs aren't prophecies. They're withdrawals from an addiction to control. Folks, imagine standing at a train platform. The car you rode every day pulls away. You sprint for a second, then stop. For a while, you stare at the tracks, replaying the timetable, blaming your shoes, blaming the clock, blaming the conductor. What if after what if? But trains that left don't reverse because you regret missing them. The platform is honest. Another line exists, another schedule, another direction. The spiral keeps your gaze locked on rails that will not return. Discipline turns your chin toward the map. Another picture. Your brain is a late-night talk show host whose ratings rely on drama. If you don't appear as a guest with a new confession, it books imagination as the headliner. The audience, your nervous system, laughs, gasps, and cries on cue. But none of it is real news. No contact is how you cancel the show, not to punish anyone, but to protect airtime for truth. Marcus Aurelius gave you permission long ago. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. What-ifs are outside events dressed up as inside wisdom. You don't owe them a microphone. Let's break the common lies. Lie 1. Closure comes from them. Closure is not a product they ship, it's a boundary you sign. If their apology arrives one day, fine. Your healing can't be on the back order until then. Lie 2. If I keep talking, we'll fix it. No, talking became the treadmill you ran to feel like you were moving. No contact is you stepping off the machine to actually walk out of the building. Lie 3. What if I never find this kind of connection again? Translate that. What if I never feel this intensity again? Intensity is not intimacy. The body can learn calm love. It just needs the noise to stop long enough to recognize it. Why is the spiral so sticky? Biology. Brains are prediction engines. They'd rather be certain and miserable than uncertain and free. The unknown feels like danger, so the mind manufactures a painful knowledge. What if you ruined the only good thing you'll ever have? That story is a trap with a polite voice. The antidote is action in small, tangible doses. Move your body, move your room, move your schedule. You don't outthink what-ifs, you outact them. Dark psychology gives us the levers. Intermittent reinforcement kept you hooked. High highs, low lows, a casino in your chest. When you go no contact, the slot machine stops paying. The first nights feel brutal because the gambler in you still hears coins that aren't falling. Stay, breathe, name the urge. Put your phone in another room. Text a friend who respects your boundary, not the person who profits when you break it. Journaling helps, but journal like a judge. Facts, not fantasy. What was promised? What was delivered? For how long? At what cost? The spiral shrinks in the light of receipts. Folks, think of your attention as a lighthouse beam. When you swing it toward the sea of what-ifs, you blind yourself and guide nothing. Fix it back on shore. Sleep, food that loves you back, training, learning, faith, service. The beam returns to its job, revealing safe harbors and honest rocks. From there, what-ifs become background weather. Rain you hear, not storms you chase. You will be tempted to send that one clarifying message. Understand the physics. A single reply restarts the loop. The mind will promise relief. What you'll purchase is relapse. Better to write the message in your notes and send it to discipline. A cold shower, a set of push-ups, a walk without your phone, a chapter of something older than your pain. Epictetus again, no man is free who is not master of himself. Mastery looks boring on the outside. Inside it feels like oxygen. Here's a gentle truth with steel in it. If your peace depends on their explanation, you've handed them your steering wheel. No contact returns your hands to 10 and 2. You can still love what was real. You can still bless from a distance. You can still grieve without auditioning for the role of savior in someone else's sequel. Your future doesn't need you to solve the past. It needs you to stop reliving it. Will the what-ifs ever disappear? They soften. They visit less, they shout less, and eventually they arrive like distant thunder you note, then move through. You'll catch yourself smiling at small things again. Hot coffee that doesn't go cold, a room you tidied and kept, a body that answers when you ask it to work. That's not forgetting, that's integrating. The lesson stayed, the loop ended. If one day life brings them back, you'll meet them from a higher ground. Standards clear, schedule full, heart calm. And if life doesn't, you'll notice something even better. The door you kept staring at was never the only one. The hallway was waiting the whole time. Lock it in and show the world around you what discipline looks like. I choose my peace. If this spoke to you, press like, subscribe, and share this with someone who needs a clean exit from their what-ifs. Stay with me, your next chapter is already opening. Respect isn't begged for, it's priced and paid for access. That's the quote I want you to hold in your chest from the very first second. Here's the hard truth, my friends. People don't change when you explain harder. They change when the benefits stop. When the free favors end, when the emotional pillow disappears, when the door of your time and attention finally locks, something shocking happens. Regret starts talking for you. That's the value blackout. No favors, no comfort, no access. Short hook. This is the moment your silence becomes the loudest sentence you'll ever speak. Hey folks, imagine this. You're a power station that's been lighting up a whole city for free. Everyone plugs in. Nobody says thank you. They run their parties on your current and then blame you when a bulb flickers. One day, you walk to the breaker and flip it. Click. The music stops. The room gets honest. That's what a value blackout feels like. Or think of yourself like a high-performance sports car that's been doing free taxi rides for people who keep slamming your doors and spilling coffee on your seats. No more rides. The engine still purrs, but the keys are in your pocket now. My friends, it's not revenge, it's maintenance. We were told a lie, that kindness means saying yes endlessly, that love means comfort without consequences, that loyalty means no boundaries. No. As Marcus Aurelius said, you always own the option of having no opinion. Translation in simple terms, you don't have to argue your worth to anyone who profits from your explanations. You can choose silence over debate. You can choose distance over drama. You can choose your peace over their convenience. And yes, sometimes that choice looks like a blackout. Here's the eye-opener. Most people don't feel your presence while they have it. They feel it when it's gone. They don't notice the water until the well runs dry. They don't value the bridge until it's closed for repair. Loss aversion is real, folks. The mind screams louder when it loses a benefit than when it gains one. When you stop the emergency favors, when you stop being the 3 a.m. therapist, when you stop answering every ping in 30 seconds, the brain on the other side starts asking hard questions. Why can't I reach him? Did I push too far? Was I entitled to something I should have earned? That's not you being cruel. That's the reality of teaching. Now, let's break a few comfortable lies. If I set boundaries, I'll lose them. Maybe. But if you never set boundaries, you'll lose yourself. If I don't explain, they'll misunderstand me. Maybe. But if you keep explaining, they'll deliberately misunderstand you because it works. If I stop helping, I'll look selfish. No, my friends, you'll look like a grown-up who respects their energy budget. And yes, we can laugh a little. You know that moment when you answer a message too fast, and then they go silent like they mailed the phone to the Arctic. Not today. Not this season. We're not sprinting after people who walk away with our time in their pockets. Epictetus said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." Let's put it in our language. I want less from them and expect more from myself. That's wealth. That's power. When you lower your wants, you raise your standards. When you stop funding what drains you, your life gets louder and calmer at the same time. And here's the beautiful twist. The moment you create a value blackout, you stop trying to deliver your message with speeches. Your choices deliver it for you. No favors, no comfort, no access. The door doesn't slam. It simply doesn't open without respect, honesty, and consistency. That's not a punishment. That's a policy. Stay with me. We're going to build this step by step. But first, press like, hit subscribe, and turn on notifications so you're here for every move we make next. Drop this in the comments to lock it in. I protect my peace. Number 1, the switch. What a value blackout really is. Respect is not requested, it's recognized when access ends. Let that land first, because this is where the value blackout begins. Not with noise, but with a boundary that doesn't blink. My friends, they won't wake up because you explain harder. They wake up when the benefits vanish. They don't hear your paragraph. They feel your absence. And when the door that used to swing on demand finally locks, regret starts learning its lines. Picture this. You're a lighthouse on a jagged coast, shining for every ship, even the ones that never signal back. Night after night, you burn, you warn, you guide. They grow used to your beam like it's part of the sky. Then one night, you conserve power. Not out of spite, but survival. The sea gets real. The captains finally check their maps. That is the first point of a value blackout. Or imagine you're a well in the center of town. Everyone draws water. Few say thanks, and some even kick the stones that hold you together. One hot season, you cap the well and rest it. You're not cruel. You're preserving the source. Thirst clarifies priorities. Silence clarifies character. They will ask themselves questions they never asked when you were easy. Why can't we reach them anymore? Did we mistake generosity for obligation? Have we trained them to prioritize us over themselves? Who are they becoming that we no longer have a pass to their time? These questions echo louder in the quiet than any argument ever could. That echo is where responsibility starts, not on your tongue, on theirs. Here's the lie we're going to break today. If you stop giving, you'll look selfish. No. If you stop giving to what harms you, you'll look healthy. If you don't respond, they'll think you don't care. No, if you don't respond to disrespect, you're teaching care its correct language, consistency, not convenience. If you raise standards, you'll lose people. True, and you'll also lose chaos. The right ones don't fear standards, they're grateful for them. The wrong ones don't fear losing you, they fear losing your labor. We're not negotiating with fear today. Why is this difficult? Because your nervous system has been conditioned to sprint whenever someone whistles. You got good at emergency empathy. You learned to anticipate storms before clouds formed. You have history, chemistry, memories, and a highlight reel stitched together by hope. That reel loops whenever you try to set a boundary, and then the guilt arrives dressed like kindness. Be honest, you've tied your identity to being available. It felt noble. Sometimes it was. But the noble can become neglected when it starves your own life. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. The outside event is them wanting access. The inner power is you deciding whether access is earned. From a psychological angle, they've been operating on intermittent rewards. Treat you lukewarm, get your warmth. Treat you late, get your quick reply. Offer nothing, get everything. That slot machine conditioning is powerful. Sometimes they pull the lever and get a jackpot, your attention, your fix, your help. Other times they get nothing. The unpredictability made them chase more, not less. Your blackout ends the casino. No more levers, no more jackpots, no more hope that mistreatment can still pay. Loss aversion will do the talking now. Losing what they assumed was guaranteed hits the brain 10 times harder than gaining something new. They called your generosity normal. Today, normal ends. They will get spooked. Expect pushback, jokes, bait, and tests. Expect the "just a small favor" message, the "you've changed" jab, the "I guess you don't care" trap. Expect the nostalgia bomb, the old photo, the inside joke, the long memory lane to unlock short-term access. This is where you breathe. This is where you remember that discipline is a better friend than dopamine. Epictetus taught, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Freedom looks like ignoring the hook, even when the bait tastes like the past. You are not starving them, you are feeding your future. Let's talk fear. You fear being misunderstood. You fear becoming the villain in a story you never authored. You fear they will replace you, tell others you were unkind, or walk away forever. Here's the relief. People committed to misunderstanding you will do it whether you explain for 10 seconds or 10 hours. The cure is not more explanation, it's better alignment. Alignment means your actions declare your values without a speech. No favors because standards, no comfort because accountability, no access because self-respect. Alignment turns your life into a sentence even your critics can read. You might think, but what if they needed me? Need is not a free pass. Need without responsibility devours the giver. Your help has to make things healthier, otherwise it's a subsidy for dysfunction. If they truly need you, they'll meet the standard that grants access. If they won't, that's their choice, not your failing. Seneca said, "He who is brave is free." Bravery is declining the role of savior in a story written by someone who refuses to rescue themselves. Let's ground this with a small, slightly funny truth we've all felt. When you reply in 3 seconds, they take 3 hours. When you reply in 3 hours, they take 3 days. It's not personal, it's psychology. Urgency communicates scarcity. Availability communicates abundance. When you make your energy artificially abundant, its perceived value drops. Pull back to natural scarcity, not games, governance. Your time is not an all-you-can-eat buffet. It's a reservation-only restaurant, and the dress code is respectful. They will feel the blackout in stages. First confusion, why is the faucet dry? Then frustration, why won't it pour when I tap it? Then reflection, did I treat the faucet like a button, not a person? Your job is not to narrate those stages. Your job is to maintain the policy. A boundary is only as strong as it's quiet. If you argue for it, you imply it's negotiable. If you apologize for it, you imply it's wrong. If you enforce it, you teach everyone, including yourself, what your life costs. And here's the motivation you can carry into your next choice. When you end the free rides, your engine runs cleaner. When you cap the well, your water runs clearer. When you dim the lighthouse for maintenance, your beam returns brighter. You don't shrink when you stop overgiving. You finally grow where you were leaking. The right people won't just accept this, they will rise to meet it. The wrong people won't chase you, they'll chase the next easy outlet. Let them. You're not an outlet, you're a source. Number 2, no favors, ending the convenience economy. Generosity without boundaries isn't kindness, it's currency that buys your own exhaustion. Let that sting a little, my friends, because this is where the value blackout bites. No favors for those who treat your effort like tap water. They don't respect what costs you nothing to give, and for too long, your default was, sure, I'll handle it. Not anymore. Today we shut down the convenience economy they built on your back and called it love. Picture your life like a premium gym that used to be free entry. People stroll in with muddy shoes, scrape the equipment, leave weights everywhere, and then complain the mirrors are smudged. When membership becomes paid and rules are posted, the crowd thins, but the ones who stay get stronger, cleaner, more focused. That's what no favors does. Or imagine yourself as a battery pack everyone borrows. They never return it fully charged. They pass it around at parties, and when it dies, they look at you like you broke it. No favors is you unplugging the cord and saying, if you want power, build your own source. They will wonder, why now? Why are they not jumping like before? Why does every quick ask meet a calm, firm line? Did we confuse their kindness with obligation? Did we mistake the emergency exit for a revolving door? These are the questions a boundaried life forces on people who are comfortable. You don't need to lecture, the rules radiate through your actions. If the request drains your peace, the answer is no. If the task rewards bad behavior, the answer is no. If the favor erases your plans, your sleep, your standards, the answer is no. Not because you're cruel, because you're coherent. Let's break the lies that kept you stuck. Good people say yes. False. Good people honor commitments, and the first commitment is to steward their energy so they can actually show up where it matters. It's just 5 minutes. It's never 5 minutes. It's 5 more minutes after 20 years of being the default option. If I don't help, they'll struggle. Maybe. But if your help keeps them from learning, your help becomes harmful. Stoically speaking, you're choosing the virtue of justice over the vice of people-pleasing. Justice includes you. This shift is uncomfortable because your body associates saying yes with safety. Approval felt like oxygen. The nods, the "you're a lifesaver," the temporary gratitude, those were small dopamine hits that trained you to sprint. Dark psychology calls it intermittent reinforcement. You don't get appreciation every time, but just enough to keep you hooked. So you kept pouring, even when the cup was cracked. No favors seals the crack by removing the pour. The rule becomes simple. I don't do what helps dysfunction survive. I support growth, not shortcuts. I support change, not repetition. If you want a bailout, call the bank. If you want a breakthrough, show me your effort. Expect pushback that comes dressed as politeness. Could you just, since you're already up? You're so good at this, it'll take you 2 minutes. Translation: you're skilled, so let me outsource my effort to you. Watch how the tone shifts when you respond. That won't work for me. Not angry, not defensive, clear. If they escalate, guilt, urgency, the dramatic sigh, remember, emotional volume is not evidence. People turn up the volume when the logic is thin. Hold the line with quiet courage. Marcus Aurelius reminded us, if it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. If the request isn't right for your life, you don't do it. If the story you'd have to tell yourself to justify it isn't true, you don't say it. Here's a small honest laugh we can share. Ever notice how the folks who say, "It'll only take a second," almost never offer to do anything that takes a second for you? That's the convenience economy's first law. Their seconds cost your hours. We're done paying in hidden fees. We're putting prices on the menu. You can still be generous, just stop being unpriced. You can still be helpful, just stop being automatic. The difference is your filter. Does this request align with my priorities, or does it punish me for having them? What about emergencies? Real emergencies reveal themselves quickly. They come with accountability, not entitlement. I know I've asked a lot. I'll handle what I can and only ask for X. That's responsibility. But, hey, I dropped the ball. Can you carry it for me? Again and again, that's a pattern. No favors is how patterns finally meet their mirror. You don't need to scold. You simply don't participate. You'll feel fear in your chest, the fear of being labeled selfish or difficult. Look closer. That's not selfishness. That's self-respect waking up after a long sleep. Epictetus said, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." Who would you be if your energy wasn't a public utility? Calm, focused, present. Who would you be if every yes actually meant yes, and every no protected the future you're building? Strong, consistent, free. You don't need 100 boundaries. You need one policy: I do not subsidize what steals from me. Over time, no favors changes your environment. The ones who stayed for the free labor drift. The ones who value fairness lean in. Your calendar gets honest, your sleep deepens, your work sharpens, your relationships transform from extraction to exchange. You begin to notice who contributes clarity, who brings chaos, who matches energy, who drains it. And with that clarity, your compassion gets better, not smaller, because it flows where it actually helps. A clean no is kinder than a resentful yes. There will be days you wobble. Old habits knock, old guilt whispers, old highlight reels play. When that happens, return to this image. You are a builder. Every time you say no to the wrong brick, the wall of your life gets straighter. Every time you say yes to the right brick, the house becomes a home. Builders don't apologize for blueprints, they follow them. Lock it in by typing this in the comments, simple and strong. No favors for chaos. Then breathe. This isn't you becoming colder. This is you becoming clearer. Stay with me. Next, we take on the comfort supply and switch emotional morphine for real accountability. Number 3. No comfort. Emotional neutrality that starves the drama. Comfort without accountability breeds the very pain it pretends to soothe. Let that line sit, my friends, because this is where the value blackout takes away the emotional morphine. No more soft pillows for sharp behavior. No more soothing speeches for the same old storms. No more, "it's okay" when it isn't. This isn't cruelty. This is clarity. They don't learn from what you cushion. They learn from what you stop cushioning. Imagine you're a campfire, everyone gathers around. They toss wet wood on it, stomp near the edge, flick sparks into dry grass, and then shiver when the flame drops. You, being kind, keep feeding the fire with your own dry logs, your own breath, your own patience, until you're cold and out of air. No comfort is you stepping back from the ring of chairs and letting the weather speak. If they want warmth, they bring wood and respect. Or picture a lifeguard diving into a pool every time someone refuses to learn to float. At first it looks heroic. Later it's a pattern. They don't float because you always dive. No comfort means you're still the lifeguard, but now you throw a float and wait for effort. They will wonder, why does their calm not melt like before? Why isn't the usual apology followed by a blanket and cocoa? Why does silence meet our chaos? That's the mirror arriving. Without your reassurance, storylines lose fuel. Without your pep talk, rationalizations sound thin. Questions crowd the room. Did we mistake kindness for endless cushioning? Did we expect reassurance instead of offering repair? Did we lean on their empathy like it was an ATM? The quiet answers, honestly. Let's break the lies. If you love people, you keep them comfortable. No. If you love people, you keep them accountable. Comfort is a gift after change, not a substitute for it. If you don't reassure them, they'll think you're cold. Maybe. Or they'll finally ask themselves why they keep needing reassurance for the same behavior. If you go neutral, they'll think you don't care. Neutrality is not neglect, it's nerve. It says, I care enough to stop participating in what hurts us. Marcus Aurelius reminded us, if it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. When you say, it's fine, and it isn't, you lie to them, and you betray yourself. No more lying in the name of love. Why is this hard? Because your body learned to be the buffer. You can read people's weather like a barometer. One look, and you start building a shelter out of your own peace. You anticipate blow-ups, absorb moods, translate tone, defend their intentions. You became so skilled at emotional first aid that they stopped bringing bandages. And let's be honest, a part of your identity enjoyed being the hero. The comfort giver gets quick thank yous and temporary peace treaties. But the hero is a costume. Steady is a character. The costume's shiny, the character is costly. No comfort chooses character. From a psychological angle, drama hunts reactions. Anger needs a volley. Victimhood needs a rescuer. Stonewalling needs pursuit. Your neutrality starves all three. Dark psychology calls it feedback deprivation. When there's no payoff, the behavior decays. That doesn't mean you ice them out. It means you stop supplying emotional subsidies. Calm voice, short sentences, clear boundary. No lectures, no play-by-play, no courtroom where you object. They perform, and nobody changes. You refuse the stage. The show closed from lack of funding. Expect tests. They may send the accidental bait text, the melancholy playlist, the midnight confessional, the dramatic sigh across the room. They may throw a small storm to see if you'll grab the umbrella. Smile inside. You know the weather trick. Offer the adult path. I'm open to a real conversation when we're both ready to fix, not spin. Then sit in your chair like it has a back. Epictetus said, no man is free who is not master of himself. Mastery here is resisting the irresistible, the urge to patch what they keep ripping. Let's lighten it with a truth we can laugh at. Isn't it funny how a quick chat about the same issue has the magical power to last 3 hours and end with you apologizing for having feelings? That's comfort's trapdoor. You enter to be kind and fall into a maze. When you go neutral, there's no maze, just a gate. Respect in, chaos out. It's not icy, it's efficient. What about compassion? Real compassion respects cause and effect. If your comfort erases cause, it also erases the effect, and nothing grows. Compassion says, I'm here when you're ready for repair, not reassurance. Compassion says, we can be warm after we're honest. Compassion says, I don't abandon you, but I won't abandon myself for you. That line keeps love from turning into labor. You will feel the itch to explain your neutrality. Don't scratch it. A boundary defended with a paragraph sounds like a debate. A boundary defended with behavior sounds like a principle. Principles don't plead. They invite alignment. If they want warmth, they bring responsibility. If they want comfort, they bring corrections. If they want access, they bring effort. Otherwise, the room stays at room temperature, steady, calm, breathable. Over time, no comfort does something beautiful to you. Your nervous system stops living on red alert. Your sleep stops bracing for sirens. Your mornings stop inheriting last night's drama. You become someone your future trusts, because your calm is no longer for sale, and they change too, if they choose to. Without your cushion, their choices meet the floor and bounce back with feedback. Growth sneaks in through the door your comfort used to block. Let's put a simple picture in your mind for the moments you wobble. You're a thermostat, not a thermometer. A thermometer reflects whatever heat it's given. A thermostat sets the temperature of the room. When drama spikes, thermometers jump. Thermostats stay set. You don't match the storm, you model the climate. Lock this in with a short line that retrains your reflex and tells the world what season you're in. Type it in the comments, calm over chaos. Then breathe. You didn't turn your heart to stone, you turned your standards to steel. Stay with me. Next, we close the third valve of the value blackout. No access. When access changes, entitlement loses oxygen. Number 4, no access. Boundaries end the era of entitlement. Access is the quietest currency. You lose power the moment you give it away for free. Sit with that, my friends, because this is the third valve of the value blackout, and it's the one that changes everything. No access doesn't mean hostility. It means governance. It means your time, your space, your attention, your energy. These are no longer open seating. The era of call whenever, drop by whenever, text me 10 times and I'll jump is over. The door is still there. The lock finally works. Imagine your life like a world-class museum. Masterpieces everywhere. Your focus, your kindness, your discipline, your peace. For years, you let people rush past the velvet ropes with greasy fingers, tapping the glass, setting off alarms, then laughing because you silenced the siren for them. No access means the ropes are back up, the alarms stay on, and there's a ticket, respect, honesty, consistency required at the door, or picture an airport gate. Flights don't leave when random passengers wander in. They leave on a schedule. Your attention is a flight. It departs on purpose, not panic. Miss the boarding time? There will be another plane, but not a private jet summoned by entitlement. They will feel it. The unscheduled calls slide to voicemail. The midnight texts meet morning replies. The drop by becomes set a time. The open calendar turns into a map with borders. They'll ask themselves, when did we lose the pass? Did we confuse their warmth for weakness? Did we treat their attention like tap water? Why do we suddenly need a reason to be in their space? These questions are exactly what access was hiding. Access without standards breeds entitlement. Entitlement without consequences becomes invasion. Let's break the lies that kept you unlockable. If I make them a schedule, it'll seem difficult. No, adults schedule, adolescents demand. If I don't answer right away, they'll think I don't care. No, if someone measures love by response time, they're buying attention, not building relationships. If I put my phone on Do Not Disturb, I'll miss something important. You will miss something. You'll miss the habit of abandoning yourself. What you'll gain is a life that runs on priorities instead of pings. Why is cutting access so hard? Because your nervous system got trained to anticipate alarms. You became the human emergency button. Someone else's anxiety rings and your body answers. You felt noble being the 24/7 line, but nobility without boundaries becomes neglect. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Outside events, their texts, their knock, their calendar. Your mind, the gatekeeping mechanism that decides whether to open. Power is the pause between the ping and your plan. From a psychology lens, reducing access activates two big levers: scarcity and contrast. Scarcity says what is rare is valued. Contrast says everything after you will be measured against what you consistently provided. When your attention is not on tap, its perceived value rises, not because you're playing games, but because you've stopped flooding the market. And when you move with calm, scheduled presence, chaos looks sloppy by comparison. Dark psychology adds a third lever: control collapse. Those who were used to tugging strings and watching you dance will tug and feel Nothing. The puppet has a spine. When influence evaporates, insecurity swells, and with it, regret. Expect tests, the urgent message that somehow can wait until you cave. The "we need to talk now" text with no specifics. The pop-in, "I was in the area." Your response is the policy, not a performance. "I'm available tomorrow at 3 or Thursday at 10. Happy to talk when we're both calm and can focus. Today doesn't work. Send context and a proposed time. Notice the difference. You didn't argue, defend, or explain the value of your boundaries. You simply enforced access with structure. The policy does the talking. You keep your peace. Let's add a bit of honest humor here, because we've all lived it. Isn't it wild how the people who say it'll only take a minute never include the 30 minutes of recovery your brain needs afterward? That minute is a Trojan horse. Inside are 5 detours and an energy invoice. No access means scanning for Trojan horses before you roll them past the gate. What about loved ones? Access is not love. Access is logistics. Love thrives with clarity. Tell them the new map. Here are my focused hours. Here's how to reach me in a real emergency. Here's how we plan time together. When people know how to connect, they stop yanking the fire alarm just to see you show up. That's not cold, that's secure attachment. Security is predictable, not perpetual. You'll feel guilt at first. The phantom buzz in your pocket, the itch to check, the pull to prove you're still nice. Breathe. Put the phone face down. Set windows for messages and windows for deep work. And remember Epictetus. First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. Who would you be if your attention weren't hijacked? Clearer, quieter, stronger. What do you have to do? Guard the gate. Over time, no access recalibrates the room. The loudest voices quiet when they discover volume doesn't purchase entry. The respectful ones rise because clarity is an ally to the sincere. Your day starts to look like you designed it instead of survival mode furnished it. You feel your momentum stack, work compounds, rest actually restores, relationships breathe at a healthy pace. And on the outside, the ones who were there for access drift. The ones who are there for you adapt. That's not loss, that's sorting. Think of yourself as a fortress with bridges instead of walls. Walls say never, bridges say by design. You lower bridges for trust and raise them for turbulence. You don't burn anything, you operate the controls. The moat isn't pettiness, it's the distance where your discernment can see clearly. If they're upset that you have a drawbridge, ask why they needed you undefended to feel connected. Let's seal this with a picture you can pull up when the old reflex returns. You are a firewall. Requests come in, some safe, some malicious, many distracting. A good firewall doesn't hate the internet, it filters it. It allows what aligns, blocks what harms, and logs what tries to breach. You're not anti-people, you're pro-priority. That's what grown peace looks like. Lock it in with a short line that trains your gatekeeping muscle and tells the world around you which era just ended. Type it in the comments. Access follows respect. Then breathe, settle your shoulders, and stay with me. Next, we'll break down the mechanics that make regret spike after the blackout. Scarcity, contrast, and the uncertainty gap that silence opens. Number 5. Scarcity mechanics. Why regret spikes after the blackout. People don't value what's common, they worship what's scarce. Hold that in your chest, my friends. This is the part most never see coming. After the value blackout, no favors, no comfort, no access, regret doesn't arrive by magic, it arrives by math. The mind runs a quiet calculation. What was abundant is now rare. What was assumed is now earned. What was free is now priced. Scarcity doesn't make you better than anyone. It makes your value visible to everyone, especially to those who blurred it before. Picture a marketplace at dawn. For years, your stall gave away fresh bread. warm, fragrant, endless. People grabbed a loaf on their way past, crumbs on their sleeves, no eye contact, no coin. One morning the table is empty, the sign reads, "Closed for inventory," and the air smells like nothing. The line that never formed suddenly appears in memory. They remember the weight of your bread, the warmth in their hands, how it carried them through the day. That's scarcity correcting memory. Or imagine a river that once ran beside every house. Kids splashed, people pumped, nobody asked who kept it clean. Then drought, no sound, just the heavy quiet of a dry bed. That's when gratitude grows teeth. Scarcity gives memory a spine. Why does regret get loud here? Three forces switch on at once. First is loss aversion, the brain's brutal bias. Losing a benefit hurts more than gaining a new one feels good. They didn't notice your calls when they came. They notice the silence now. They didn't clock your reliability. They clock the absence of it with interest. Second is the contrast effect. Everything after you gets judged against the baseline you built. If new people deliver half presence, half truths, half effort, the mind compares automatically. Your steadiness becomes a ruler laid over chaos. Third is the uncertainty gap. Questions with no answer multiply. Why can't we reach them? Is this permanent? Did we mistake their kindness for obligation? The human mind hates open loops. Your blackout opens all of them. Add one more gear, cost revelation. When you were giving, it looked easy because you were good at it. Excellence hides effort. Scarcity exposes cost. The late-night rides, the emotional labor, the way you remembered details, the way you answered before the second ring, all of that had a price tag your nervous system paid. When you stop paying, they finally see the bill. Marcus Aurelius said, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." For years you said, "It's fine," when it wasn't. Scarcity corrects the language. It says, "This was never free, I was footing the bill." They will cycle through the predictable stages. At first, casual confidence, we'll get them back on the line. Then irritation, why are they difficult now? Then anxiety, did we push the good thing too far? Then bargaining, a soft message, a memory, a half apology built to reopen the gate. Notice, none of those require you to perform. Scarcity does the teaching. Your job is to keep the policy. No favors, no comfort, no access. Steady and simple. You are not a riddle to be solved. You are a standard to be met. Let's break the lies that keep people blind to this. If they really cared, they would have valued you before. Not always. Many people don't value water until they're thirsty. Awareness often follows absence. If you were truly valuable, you wouldn't need scarcity. False. Diamonds and dust have the same carbon. One is compressed, guarded, and rare. Scarcity doesn't invent value, it reveals it. If you set limits, you're playing games. No, games manipulate expectations. Limits manage resources. You're not teasing, you're stewarding. From a dark psychology angle, the intermittent reinforcement that once kept their habits alive now boomerangs. Before, they behaved poorly and sometimes still got your attention, a jackpot every few pulls. You just close the casino. With no payoff, the behavior decays, but the mind still chases the memory of jackpots. That chase is regret's treadmill. Add in the Zeigarnik effect. Unfinished stories stick. Your silence becomes the cliffhanger they can't skip. They replay the last scenes, your last calm words, your last boundary, the last time you said, "This doesn't work for me," and wonder what the next episode would show if they had listened. There's humor here if you squint. Ever notice how the moment you stop answering in 30 seconds, they discover the ancient art of writing complete sentences? Suddenly, there's punctuation, context, even courtesy. Scarcity upgrades grammar, it upgrades effort, it upgrades everything because it upgrades expectations. You didn't become superior, you became specific. The price is printed on the menu now. Respect, honesty, consistency. No coupon codes. You may feel the tug to soften scarcity. Just a small favor, just a quick call, just this once. Remember, scarcity only works when it's real, not theatrical. You're not withholding to provoke, you're reallocating to protect. Epictetus said, first say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. Who would you be if your attention obeyed your purpose? Focused, reliable, to yourself first. What do you have to do? Keep the gates where you set them, not as punishment, as policy. Over time, something elegant happens. Scarcity changes not only how they see you, but how you see you. You feel your time acquiring weight again. You feel your yes gathering meaning. You watch chaos bounce off the perimeter instead of bursting through the door. And in that quiet, your work compounds, sleep restores, training sticks, reading deepens, relationships calibrate. The world didn't get easier, your boundaries made it legible. And yes, regret sharpens on their side. The mind compares your steadiness versus new inconsistency, your listening versus new performance, your integrity versus new theatrics. Contrast writes the verdict you never needed to argue. It's not triumphalism, it's arithmetic. They're not haunted by your speeches, they're haunted by reality's math. If you wobble, use this picture. You're an alpine lake, once trampled by tourists who left cans on the shore. The park closes the access road for a season. Fewer footprints, clearer water. The same lake, finally visible. Scarcity didn't change the water, it protected the view. That's you. Lock it in with a line that tunes your reflex and teaches the room what era has begun. Type it in the comments. Scarcity protects value. Stay with me. Next, we hold up the mirror that silence always brings and let accountability do the talking.